All right, this morning we're going to talk about four stocks that I just bought. I did not buy those as investment. I consider investment to be 3% of my portfolio to 10%. And so I can only have, 10 to 30 total investments based on how I actually invest. But I did go look and see what Warren Buffett was buying, and I looked through those stocks, and I'll give you some advice, not investment advice, but advice on how I perceive things. So I look and see what Buffett's buying. It gives me kind of a place to check some stocks to see about valuations and what they're doing, and at least something someone else thinks might be a good thing to buy. And when I look through those, I don't just look and buy them. If I don't understand the company, for instance, I don't really understand oil companies. There's different models of oil companies and things I don't really understand. So he bought an oil company. I didn't buy that. But sometimes there are stocks in there that I kind of understand. And what I'm looking for is an experimental portion of my portfolio where I buy things and I watch them and I see, what do I like to own? What companies would I like to own more of? And then I'll watch those companies for a long period of time until I hit strategic points to acquire positions in them. Or I might set up a dollar cost average into those companies, just depending on what I think the prospects of the companies are. And so let's get right into this real quick. All right, the first one is Paramount. I think they just made that Top Gun movie, and price to earnings ratio is 5.19, which means it's very cheap, which means this is probably one of Warren Buffett's cigar butt purchases where he buys a company, thinking it's just so cheap he can't buy it. So 5 price to earnings ratio with this 3.67 dividend. So the way I look at this is investing is like gambling. Only your odds are better if you're actually investing. And so this probably would be a very low risk, minor return investment for him. He's not looking to hold it for 10 years and have it go quadruple in value. He's more looking to buy it. Small risk of it going down because it's so cheap. Maybe it doubles in price. Maybe he sells it and buys something different. And so that's the first one, the Paramount. Citibank, the second, 6.95 price to earnings, and this is the price you're paying. So basically, think about how many years of earnings are you buying the stock for. So stock earns $1 a year, and I buy it for $10. I just bought it for 10 years earnings. 10 years is great. These are very cheap. 3.75% dividend. Hewlett Packard, technology company of the past. This is when, PCs and the products they produced were innovative, were changing cost structures, and today it's more of a commodity company that just builds a backbone product. And so 6.21 price to earnings, 3% dividend basically. And the last one I'll cover is Ally Financial. Now, financial stocks have several different types of risks depending on who they're lending to and how they're lending and things. And so those things you can get into to try to understand. But essentially their product is they're taking on risk to lend money. They're taking deposits and they're earning something on the difference. And so you're doing the same thing as you're owning their stock. So 5.05 price earnings ratio means you're paying 5 years of earnings for this stock, and pays a 3.35% dividend at the current price. I think I bought a little bit lower a couple weeks ago. And so those are the four stocks I'm watching. The other thing I did, I'll tell you about that, is for a long time I've been looking at selling my Disney stock, and I got a, kind of a 2 to 3 day bump here from 95 up to 121. And so I sold my Disney stock that I had got through the Marvel purchase. And the reason I sold it is, if you could see the you're paying 70 years earnings for the stock, and it pays no dividend at all. And so I just didn't like owning it. I owned it for several years and just didn't like it. Now, another stock that I've dealt with is Home Depot. And Home Depot, I do like the stock. You're talking about a 20 price, 20 years of earnings you're buying it for. And you get a 2.4% dividend on that. And if you look at the 5-year history, you're looking at consistent growth. And it goes down, as money goes away, but growth over time has been pretty crazy. So I do like owning Home Depot, and I have invested in Home Depot. I do not have Disney anymore. And I would say these 4 are just kind of experiments to see. If I was going to buy more of a stock right now I'm dollar cost averaging into Walmart stock. Maybe one of these 4 might be a long-term holding. We'll see how I like those. And then VIG index fund. So just a broad market index fund should be a large portion of your portfolio. And I think I will buy at some point some Pepsi stock. If you look at Pepsi, I have a friend that's owned this for a while. Pretty consistent uptick with a dividend that it pays. And so, I wouldn't buy right here because it's at kind of a high. But, if there's a market correction, I might buy Disney stock as opposed to other things. And then the last one I do look at is Blizzard. And so there's an ongoing merger where Microsoft next July is going to buy Blizzard for $95 a share. So you have a pretty set price that's going to be at. Pretty much the reason I haven't bought a lot of that is because I felt like we were looking for a market correction when a next inflation number come high. Now it came a little lower, which is good for my interest rates. But if it comes in high, you might see a significant correction, and then I wanted to have free cash to take advantage of that correction. I hope this helps you understand some stocks. Do I think you should go out and buy these stocks as an investment? You have $500 and buy it? Absolutely not. You should have, 4 or 5 little pieces of stocks that you're watching, that you're thinking about, that you're watching the prices of, and the companies, to kind of understand when the company's doing well and bad, and when it turns out to be a good place to put your money. You should be doing that, and then over a period of time establishing in your mind what positions and what investments you would like to be acquiring, either a dollar cost average or when the market does go down at a certain point. And that's kind of the system that I would use. As far as specific investments, I don't think I'm very good at picking them. I'm better at controlling when I would buy them, not based on my own emotion. If there's an overreaction in the market, or either way, up or down. I sold, my GM stock at 56 something because they announced they're doing a partnership on electric vehicles, and as soon as they announced the partnership, the stock went up 20%, which was not based on any fundamental changes in the company. And so I sold out at that point, and then had the cash free to buy something else. So hope you enjoyed looking at some stocks with me today, thinking through the thought process of how to decide which ones to buy, which ones not to buy. I don't think that getting wealthy is something people do by doing high-flying, high-risk investments. I think it's more by understanding the odds, understanding the risks and the probabilities, and then doing something more akin to what you do when you count cards in Vegas, which is when you feel the odds are the best, then doubling down or 5x down on what you invest. So if I found a stock that was, fantastic value because the stock market dropped, like let's say it goes down 15%, I might buy 5x, 10x Pepsi at 15% down, right? And so that's kind of what you do in the Vegas when you're counting markets, you're counting cards, is you're just increasing your investment as the probabilities change. And so otherwise, you're just kind of DCA and dollar cost averaging into the market, and understand they're making money. It's paying out a 2.5-3% dividend, and that's a better place to put money than in something that's going to depreciate that you're going to use like a car. And so that's kind of the philosophy that I think gets you to building wealth over time. I'll talk to you later. You have a great day. Bye.